Welcome back. It feels like an eternity. Okay, it's only Monday, but I'm for some reason I'm really exhausted and I work, but I guess I'm tired from working. In any event, shout out to Big Lori, okay? Um we're going over Lori's preliminary hearings from last week. And listen, Lori Vallow Daybell might actually be the best pro se litigant that I've ever seen. Yeah, she just is. She just she's out there. She's been schooling. She's been schooling herself, educating herself, and she's doing her thing. Okay, she still should have gotten an attorney or a public defender or somebody. But here's the thing: Lori has nothing to lose. By that I mean she's convicted. She has a very complicated background. Okay, yeah, she has a complicated background. So on May 12th, 2023, Lori was found guilty of charges that relate to her or that related to her minor children. Okay, and then she was sentenced to life imprisonment. So that's why she's gambling, because she has life without the possibility of parole. So I guess things cannot get any more complicated for her. Okay. Uh, let's see. All right, let's get into it because you guys know I can talk and rambling. I hope you guys are ready for war. That's all I'm saying. I hope you guys are ready because it's about to be very chaotic out here. Very disturbing news today. But let's move.
Cox that I did not
Hold
think
on.
falls under hearsay. They use the police interview of Alex Cox that I did not think falls under hearsay.
Why not?
Shout out to Big Lori. She's out here talking about hearsay and exceptions.
Why does it not fall under hearsay?
Yeah.
Because we're not using it for the truth of the matter asserted. We're using it in corroboration of the circumstances.
Big shout out to Lori. Lori knows the definition of hearsay. Okay.
Everyone came in and told. Why
it?
does it not fall under hearsay?
Yeah.
Because we're not using it for the truth of the matter asserted. We're using it in corroboration of the circumstances. Everyone came in and told.
No, let me see how long the actual hearing lasted, because I watched parts of this in real time last week. I watched parts of it in real time. It's just I only have an hour tonight. You guys, I'm a mystery reader tomorrow. I'm a mystery reader tomorrow. The fifth graders, they have no idea I'm about to be a mystery reader. So I'm like VIP tomorrow, okay? So I need to go to bed. I need to wake up early, put on some makeup for the little fifth graders, and take them some what is this? It's really party favors, but I have a stash of party favors. Okay, so I can only be up here an hour.
Their same story that corroborates
What's
different
up,
facts
Brooklyn?
in there, not for the whole truth of the matter.
Oh, Brooklyn, so we have disturbing news. I don't even want to get into it right now. Let's see. Oh, I watched today actually. I was watching Judge McBurney when I was at work. Let me know if you watched Judge McBurney or not. I can go over the proceedings. Very disturbing allegations in that courtroom. Even the evidence, very disturbing. But my view is that the attorneys were not asking good questions. The jurors in that case actually asked better questions than the attorneys, but I'll leave it at that.
Aren't you arguing that what he said was true?
I hope you guys had a good weekend.
I can't say with another person.
True.
Oh my goodness. Lori, I was just giving you a shout out. Now
aren't you
a little bit.
Arguing that what he said was true?
I can't say whether another person says that it's true or not, but I'm saying what he said and what my daughter said and what I said in those 3 police interviews determined what the police said, how the police acted, what they did after that, their next steps.
Okay, can you name the exception? to the hearsay rule?
how they treated the entire case like it was self-defense. All of those are relevant to the defense that it was self-defense. So yes, I think
Oh my goodness, Lori. Lori, I just gave you a shout out. Hold on.
relevant to the defense that it was self-defense. So yes, I think they're
What is she saying yes to?
for that purpose.
Wait,
Yes, I think they're for that purpose.
Lori, you're gonna make me take my evidence book out.
But I also think that Alex's statements also have a lot of the exceptions apply.
Lori, you should have gone with a public defender. You cannot even get your words out.
803, 804. There's a lot of exceptions that also apply to some of his statements and not
Can you name them though?
all of his statements.
Such as what?
Right, like Lori, come on, Lori. I had high hopes.
Which statements do you think they
So,
apply to?
I specifically his statements made on body cam to police in the driveway, specifically his
I don't know what the statements
What are the exceptions, Lori?
are, so that's what I'm asking. What specific statements do you think are allowed to come in under the rules of evidence?
I think under 8031, the present sense impression is his statements made to police officers at the house.
A present sense impression is where you're actually observing something and you're talking about it as you see it happen.
Oh, Lori. Oh my goodness, Lori. I have hopes for her though, but I suppose she should have gone with an attorney. Go with a real attorney. Ah,
So, isn't he saying, again, I don't know what the statements are, but is he saying what happened prior? Or is he saying
Yes,
something that
prior.
he's, okay,
Correct,
so it's not a
prior.
present sense
oh,
impression.
Lori, it's not coming in, Lori.
Okay.
I
What
girl
else?
said, okay, she's defeated.
Else?
Then I think it falls under 8032, excited utterance. He was under the stress of the whole situation.
A big shout out to Lori. She's out there with her rules of evidence, the exceptions to
When he
hearsay.
made those statements.
What was his demeanor when he made those statements?
Don't say you don't know. Say he was excited or something.
Upset.
There we go.
What's the specific statement?
I shot my brother-in-law in self-defense.
Yes.
I got hit in the head with a bat. There was an altercation. I don't know what all the statements are, but
How long after the incident did he make these statements?
immediately after, as far as I know.
Oh no, Brooklyn, it's not to Lori. No, nothing happened to. I hope nothing happened to Lori. I believe she was interviewed. She has a jail interview. I don't know why people. I don't know why they do a lot of talking, but she had a jail interview. I did not. Shout out to LSU women's basketball. I did not listen to the interview or watch the interview. I don't know what she talks about, but I have concern. The news that we have, breaking news today, it's very, very concerning. Very concerning.
Well, immediately to some people means 2 seconds. To other people, it means
Did you have a good
30
week,
minutes.
Brooklyn?
Tell me what immediately means to you.
As soon as the police arrived.
I don't know what, did they arrive 30 minutes after the incident? 10 minutes, an hour?
Yeah.
I was not there. I do not know what time they arrived.
Oh my goodness, Lori.
All right. So you're asserting excited utterance. Some of these statements come in. What else?
8033, the mental, emotional, and
Hey,
physical
Brooklyn's
condition,
so
because
nosy.
it shows his
Brooklyn is so nosy. Hold on, Brooklyn. I think it impacts. Hold on. Let me gather my thoughts first, okay?
state of mind, which was scared at the time.
What's going on with Lori's outfit?
Any others?
Did you watch
Yes.
that McBurney today or not?
8035B, the recorded recollection. I know that
And Okay, going back to Karen Reed a little bit. Again, I have no idea why Karen Reed and her team were doing interviews or why they were on some, what's the channel? Discovery something. I have no idea why they decided to be part of a docu-series, some weird stuff. Because now the prosecution is claiming that she waived attorney-client privilege. She's created problems. These people have created problems that should not exist. Okay, that should. I mean, for Lori, she can give all the interviews she wants because apparently, I mean, she's representing herself too. So apparently, life sentences or 3 life sentences are not, scary to her. But okay, let's move on.
In the state's reply to my response, they did not think that 805 applied because A, B, and C, but I did not see an and after A. So my assumption was that B
Should have gone with an attorney, Lori.
and C, since there's an and after B, were what needed to be put together. So B was made or adopted by this witness when the matter was fresh in the witness's memory and accurately reflects the witness's knowledge. So I felt like 803B, 5B, the recorded recollection of his police interview and the body cam footage applies under that exception.
All right. Generally, 8035 is a recorded recollection, meaning it's something they wrote down, or maybe they recorded their voice saying something. Let me ask the state to respond. We're just talking about the Alex Cox statements.
Your Honor,
Maybe I should start with,
Yeah.
does the state intend on introducing any statements from Alex Cox?
Your Honor, I haven't decided if we will at this point. I can say with 100% certainty, we will not be admitting.
Wait, what?
Statements from Alex Cox?
Your Honor, I haven't decided if we will at this point. I can say with 100% certainty, we will not be admitting his interview by police that was done at after 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
We don't,
Are you referencing what time he was interviewed versus the time of the incident?
let me say it this way. So the state has laid out in its motion the timeline. So that is actually in our motion. We show that when
8:30 a.m.
is when the
roughly.
911 call was made. So we have soon after that, the police arrived and there's body cam video from that interview. Then Alex Cox is later brought to the police station and there is a in-depth interview with detectives at a little after 10 o'clock in the morning.
So you may or may not be attempting to introduce statements at or around the time that the police responded?
Correct, Your Honor. If we do, those would be brought in as co-conspirator statements against a party interest. So obviously the state can bring in statements that are hearsay against a party.
Right. But I guess, is the state intending on introducing any statements of Tylee?
No, Your Honor. Kylie made no statements at the scene other than giving her general biographical information on body cam. Her entire statements were made at the police station, again, after 10 in the morning.
All right. So on your response as it relates to Tylee, you say,
Where did
again,
all you
present
guys
sense
come
impression. I
from?
don't think it's a present sense impression.
What's up, Jerome? What's up, Benji?
You also are.
Station, again, after 10 in the morning. Giving her general biographical information on body cam. Her entire statements were made at the police station, again, after 10 in the morning.
All right. So on your response as it relates to Tylee, you say, again, present sense impression. I don't think it's a present sense impression. You also argue excited utterance. What else?
My goodness. Lord.
8033, which is mental, emotional, and physical condition with the same thing, her state of mind, then being scared. And also 8043, statement against interest. They use that statement in the indictment where Tylee says that Charles says, if you hit me with that bat, you're going to jail. That's the part where she's nervous in her interview saying she's scared to tell the
What's
police
Jerome
that
and
she's the one
Benji?
that
What
brought
are
in
you
the
guys
bat.
saying?
So state of mind and the statement against interest both apply to
Jerome
Tylee's
said, "What's up, G's?"
All right.
police interview.
Okay, let's see what Brooklyn's saying. Hold on. So Brooklyn, watch it over the weekend. Brooklyn has somebody's texting me. Okay. Brooklyn, watch it over the weekend. Brooklyn has a lot of questions on Karen from the show that didn't know before. I don't know. I want to know what questions. What questions do you have? Can I watch the interview? Let me see. Tomorrow. No, tomorrow I have to finish watching Judge McBurney. I want to see what happens with that trial. Yeah, I want to see what happens. And oh no, I cannot watch it in the morning because I'm a star guest for fifth graders tomorrow. Okay. Brooklyn says, how did she spot John when he was covered with snow? I don't know. Here's the problem. I wonder, because the prosecution can pretty much bring in, the prosecution can bring in her, what is it called, docu-series or whatever. I mean, they're not going to show the whole thing, but they can watch. I mean, they could if they really wanted to, but it would have to be of her talking. They could bring it up. I don't know. What exactly did she say, Brooklyn, though? All right. What's up, Benji? Benji, I saw your email after work today. Did not get a chance to respond, but I'm glad that you are doing well. I'll definitely respond after this, okay? Okay, what do you mean by the algorithm? I don't know. I don't go by any of those things, Jerome. I'm just here. I keep my regular job. I keep my regular job, and that's what I'm focused on. Brooklyn says, starts feeling the beads. No. No. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, Brooklyn. All right, let's get into Lori. Actually, I wanted to, sometime last week, I wanted to bring up one. It was something related to Karen Reed. I think it was after her docu-series, but again, things got out of hand with, a lot was happening in Karen Reed's trial yesterday. Over and over again, I've been replaying the scene of Karen Reed with Alessi obviously leading the mob, them, sitting down, and it was very chaotic. But I've been replaying that scene over and over again. That's probably the best thing I've seen all month.
All right. Anything else? Does the state want to be heard further on that?
Your Honor, the only further thing I think that the state will bring in is that obviously the defendant has been found guilty of killing both Tylee, other individuals, but in this case, the defendant cannot benefit from killing a witness and then later try to bring in their statements for their benefit. So in addition to
that is real. That's actually really crazy because what Lori is basically trying to do is bring in what her daughter's statement, and the daughter's no longer here. I don't know what's
statements
going
being
on.
admissible under the rules of evidence, as any of the exceptions that the defendant has done. We also believe that it would be improper for.
Okay, hold on. Before we get there, I can read these comments on my own. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's supported or not. Somebody said she thinks she's the smartest person to ever live. Apparently the judge deserves accolades for composure and patience. I don't know. Let's get into the other piece, though. There was something else. I think it was this one. Yeah, because this is from 2 weeks ago. This is from last week.
Do you really think we need to screen that far out? I know you're being overly cautious.
I think, especially given that I'm not positive we'll pick a jury in that first week, I think we should, Your Honor.
All right. Defense have any
All right,
comment on
Jerome.
how we're
I'm happy
screened
for
through
you
May?
and her both.
I think it's plenty
Brooklyn,
of time, Your Honor. myself.
Brooklyn, I'm not engaging in that. I'm not engaging in that, but whatever. Wait, I'm
In
losing
that
track.
first week, I think we should, Your Honor.
Brooklyn, aren't you married, or maybe it doesn't matter? I don't know. I talk reckless all the time, so maybe it applies both
All right.
ways.
Defense have any comment on how we're screened through May 15th?
I think it's plenty of time, Your Honor, myself.
All right.
All right, let's deal with a couple things. First, I've received the notice of compliance. That was when the defendant requested the Gilbert
That's
video.
going on lately.
Does that apply to the second case or this case?
Your Honor, it's an incident that occurred in January. It's not really, it was disclosed because it is mentioned in the DR. The defense had filed a motion for the state to disclose that, and then had brought up again on the 11th that the state had not disclosed it, that there was some YouTube video of that. I have looked for said
YouTube
YouTube video. I have gone through the police report. I don't know what video she's discussing, but we're not aware of any video that hasn't been disclosed. So I'm just providing notice that disclosure is complete as to that police report that is peripherally relevant.
All right. Any comment on that?
Yes, Your Honor. For clarity, is the state proposing that there is no video or that they don't have to give it to me because it's not attached to that DR number?
I think what she said was she's not aware of what video you referenced. So as far as her knowledge, she doesn't have it and doesn't know about it.
So I should go directly to Gilbert Police Department to get it?
Well, last time you were in court, you said your investigator or someone told you about it,
A mitigator
a mitigator.
showed it to me.
If they have that link, why don't they just send it to the state, and that may help the state determine if that's
I
something
watched
they've already
this.
disclosed.
I will tell you why they won't, because that is my former team and they will not do anything to help my investigator, my paralegal. They won't give us any information that they found. They won't talk to us at all because apparently there was a conflict.
Listen, shout out to Lori. They gave a paralegal, an investigator, a side counsel, a law library. They gave her a lot.
So they will not help us. They will not send us anything. They will not email us anything.
She still needs an attorney, though. Like, she may have all these things, but she needs an attorney.
And they will not answer anything that we ask them to. So that has been the response from my former defense team. That's where we are.
All right.
Shout out to all the pancakes.
Do you know, and maybe your advisory councils can speak to this,
Jerome, I welcome all trouble you have, okay? I welcome all trouble you have.
did they turn over a file to you or did you have to start from scratch?
Parenting.
No, from what I understand, all they turned over was the 22 terabyte hard drive, and that is it. They didn't turn on any notes, any work product, nothing that they had done to that point. Continue to stand by that today, even though a lot of that information I gave to them, they would not give it back to me.
All right, I'm gonna make an order and it'll be in the minute entry that they turn over a copy of their entire file, including any mitigation information that was gathered to the advisory council. Ms. Hicks, you look like you want to say something.
I don't know.
What did I miss? I know I missed something, but I'm not gonna go back. Jerome says Brooklyn. What? He's not exclusive? I thought he's married. I never said, oh my goodness, Brooklyn. I never said Alessi was cute, attractive. I did not talk about his physical appearance, but I think that he's very intelligent. Okay. He's definite. He's well spoken. I love the legal art. Now I'm just talking about Alessi. Let's move on. Now I'm just really talking about Alessi. So let's move on. Okay, a big shout out. A big shout out to all the pancakes. Nah, baby, no pancakes over here. This is all butter.
No, I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you.
All butter.
All right, so I'll do a more detailed order about, they should have turned over a copy of their entire file to advisory council when they withdrew.
I wonder why they withdrew. I mean, I wonder why they withdrew. What was she asking? All right, move on, Jed. Somebody needs to talk. Somebody needs to talk.
All right, so I've read the defendant's disclosures that were filed
Okay.
March 6th and March 12th, as well as the state's.
It's so weird. I can never figure out. I mean, it's not that difficult in terms of which defendant mainstream viewers support and who they don't support. Apparently, they don't like Lori for some reason, but they love Karen Reed. I know though, but Karen Reed, there's been a shift in her support. Because I was on Reddit this past weekend, and there's a shift. I don't know why people are turning against her, but people are turning against her.
Include. And
See, what's Brooklyn saying?
well,
Okay, let me
start.
see. Okay, Brooklyn's not giving me good news right now. So Brooklyn's saying Alessi was doing a lot of chatting in YouTube clips over the weekend. He said he has a gag order, but spoke about his legal career. I'm not a fan of attorneys that try cases in the media. Like, I don't know why. Why can't people just like represent the client, do it to the best of your ability, and then move on with life? I guess things are different now, and people are so caught up in fame. I don't know. It's a weird culture. Yeah, that's a little disappointing, Brooklyn. I'm sorry. It's a weird times. All right, let's move on.
Have you received any response from the defense, anyone from
That's
the
true, I'm
defense team
laughing at.
since you filed this on March 16th?
I missed you guys too,
Last night at
Jerome.
10:30.
I missed you guys too, but I think it makes sense to have this schedule because we all know what we're getting ourselves into, right? We all know what to expect. So, yeah. It's a good balance though, because on Friday I did my laundry, I did all my stuff, and I went about my business. And Sunday I went out shopping and did a whole lot of stuff.
So,
It felt like a weekend. I was well rested until I went to
defense
work.
investigator sent over a list of the addresses
Brooklyn
of
said,
the
"Missed who?"
witnesses. I did speak with him this morning. I still am unclear if defense will be setting up those interviews or if they will be providing phone numbers to the state to set them up ourselves. As for the
Don't know if they're in Brooklyn now.
again, last night at like 10:30 at night, defense investigator emailed
Hold on,
the
they're
state.
taking a little too
Our
long.
2021
Action.
001704.
Oh, this is actually a news channel. Oh, okay.
Your Honor, for the record, this Trini on behalf of the state, and for the record, the next of kin and the victim in the 2022 matter are appearing virtually.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Hicks and Robert Abernathy as advisory counsel for Ms. Daybell.
Go ahead and announce.
Lori Daybell.
Lori,
Good morning, Your Honor.
what are
Pamela
you
Hicks and
doing?
Robert Abernathy.
Lori, what is she doing? Lori, you need to focus. Introduce yourself and
As advisory counsel for Ms. Daybell.
Go ahead and announce.
what is she doing?
Lori
What is she rummaging through like focus?
Bell.
All right, thank you. My courtroom assistant said there's some issue with advisory counsel at the table.
I apologize, Your Honor. I didn't think about the logistics, so I'll just let Ms. Daybell.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I could have my investigator up here at the table, because if I needed to ask him something, then I need him available.
Yeah, any side can designate an investigator to sit with them through the trial and through court proceedings.
Dude, what are they whispering about?
So that you can have, if you can fit 3 chairs there, that's fine. Otherwise, advisory council could scoot her chair behind, whatever you think is logistically easier.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I just received word literally 2 minutes ago that we will be using Judge Kemp's courtroom and we can use it for the entire first trial, which is in the South Court Tower, which will give us more space as needed. Have the parties, I had my staff drop off the proposed questionnaire on your table this morning. I know you just got it this morning. You may need some time to read through it. That's my proposed questionnaire. Obviously, there's maybe a lot more questions that either side would like to ask the potential jurors in follow-up. So this is not limiting what would be asked ultimately to the jurors. In addition to this, the questions in this questionnaire, when the potential jurors come in, I always go over the burden of proof. I go over credibility of witnesses in a little more detail, especially as it pertains to how people perceive officer testimony. And some other areas.
The judge, we
People
want.
may have had some close family members. Any
We
I
want
think my
more.
concern would be that when the jurors come in here and start hearing about the case or hearing testimony about the case, they'll hear the names Tylee and JJ, which obviously were more, there was more publicity about those than about Charles Vallow. And so I think if we really want to ensure that the jury is unbiased and has had no pretrial publicity with regards to the defendant, we're going to have to question them as to their knowledge of her other convictions out of Idaho. That was something that was just incredibly all over the media.
I agree, but I think that may happen in individual voir dire. This initial questionnaire,
I'm
if they
distracted,
recognize
guys. Let's move
I
on to
anticipate
Lori.
losing a number of the advisory council's names in there.
I am.
I'll add those. But at the bottom where it says other potential witnesses, I could do a third or another category that says other people that may be referenced but are not going to testify and list those names. That's fine. Is there any in addition to those two?
That would be the only for that. I think the other issue is, of course, the defendant's supplemental 15.2 names.
When was that filed? I haven't seen it.
Sorry, I'm
I
parenting you
filed
guys.
actually 2 motions to preclude them all and emailed them to your court Sunday.
Okay, maybe that's in my folder. That's on my desk. Before we,
Defense filed that on the
Hold on,
12th
let's
of March.
move on to.
okay, before we get
Thing
to
Lori's
that,
talking.
let me ask the defendant. Other comments on the proposed questionnaire and the information that we're going to put in there?
I think it's
What's that?
pretty clear.
Okay, do you have any objection to listing Tylee and JJ because they will be mentioned?
No.
Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Let me ask the state, you have 21 witnesses listed. I need to look at the defense witnesses that were listed. And we're after jury selection. I recognize jury selection could take longer than the initial week that I've set forth, but from April 7th to May 15th, the current screening, that is 20 full days of trial and 2 half days. So essentially 21 days of trial. Do you really
I'm
think we need to
distracted,
screen that
folks.
far
I
out?
have to reply.
I know
to
you're
some
being
stuff.
overly cautious.
I
I'm
think
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Words that
Now let's get back.
is peripherally relevant.
All right. Any comment on that?
Yes, Your Honor. For clarity, is the state proposing that there is no video or that they don't have to give it to me because it's not attached to that DR number?
I think what she said was she's not aware of what video
Should have gone with an
you
attorney.
referenced. So as far as her knowledge, she doesn't have it and doesn't know about it.
So I should go directly to Gilbert Police Department to
I'm
get
way
it?
behind.
Well, last time you were in court, you said your investigator or someone told
I'm
you
way
about it,
A
behind.
mitigator
a mitigator.
showed it to me.
If they have that link, why don't they just
Is
send it to the
Brooklyn with a
state? And
mug
that
or
may help the state
something?
determine if that's something they've already
I'll tell
disclosed.
you, I will tell you why they won't, because that is my former team and they will not do anything to help my investigator, my
Goodness. What are you talking about, Jerome? What? I don't know. I like you, lawyer. I make good money as well, but I'm not gonna turn down extra money at all. Okay. All right. Is that why you go gambling, Jerome? Okay, let's get back into this.
my paralegal. They won't give us any information that they found. They won't talk to us at all because apparently there was a conflict. So they will not help us. They will not send us anything. They will not email us anything. They will not answer anything that we ask them to. So that has been the response from my former defense team. That's where we are.
All right.
Mm.
Do you know, and maybe your advisory councils can speak to this, did they turn over a file to you or did you have to start from scratch?
No, from what I understand, all they turned over was the 22 terabyte hard drive, and that is it. They didn't turn on any notes, any work product, nothing that they had done to that point. And they continue to stand by that today, even though a lot of that information I gave to them, they would not give it back to me.
Okay. I want to move on to Karen reading a little bit, but then again, I'll let it play out because I
All
only have about.
I'm gonna make an order and it'll be in the
Hold on,
minute entry
3
that
minutes?
they turn over a copy of their entire file, including any mitigation information that was gathered to the advisory council. To Ms. Hicks, you look like you want to say something.
I don't know.
What's that? What on earth is this?
Think of this question. Can they say that? They say that, don't they have to put what's different?
You have to ask the attorney.
Right.
No, I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, so I'll do a more detailed order about, they should have turned over a copy of their entire file to advisory council when they withdrew.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm really distracted. Actually, I'm putting my phone away, but it's a whole lot of stuff. Hold on, Lori's taking too long for me. Hold on. Lori Vallow, Law and Crime. She's taking way too long for me. Oh, what's going on? Shout out to Lori. She has makeup on and everything. No, I don't want any of that. All right, let me see if I can find the Karen Reed video, because that's who we're getting into tomorrow. Let me just close. I have too many tabs. Shout out to Brooklyn though. Brooklyn sent me an email. Was that on Friday or was it Thursday? Basically, the Commonwealth's motion to compel communications between Karen Reed and Yannetti. I just, In all honesty, I have no idea what these people were thinking. But let me find, hold on. Let's close that. I have too many tabs. I have too many open tabs. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Core TV. I found it. I found it. Let me share. Stop. All right, I found it. So let me, oh, I just lost it. Hold on, I need to go back. I lost it. I have too many open tabs. Hold on. Brooklyn, what's wrong? There's a lot. It's a lot happening in, I guess, the legal world right now. So I'll leave it at that. Let me first get into that. All right. So let's go.
Exactly as it happened. John was the Boston police officer. We went to the bar with a bunch of cops. Jen McCabe invited us to the Alberts. Last I ever talked to him when he got out of my car at Brian Albert's house.
Now for what's trending in true crime, defendant Karen Reed's retrial is fast approaching. She's accused of murdering her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. And now she's finding herself at the center of a brand new docuseries. An investigation discoveries a body in the snow, the trial of Karen Reed. The defendant opens up her Massachusetts.
What do you mean 30 minutes? We've been up here for almost an hour. No, tomorrow I'm a special guest for 5th graders, okay? I take my duties very seriously. No, and I mean tomorrow we can go longer, not too long though. Tomorrow we can go longer because it's Karen Reed. Today I just basically showed Fivo was supposed to be here. Today I just showed up in order to remain consistent.
It's home to the cameras and to questions. It shows her and her legal team gearing up.
But I think as of next week, I have some pre-recorded videos that I need to put out. I just don't have time to edit, you guys.
Up for her trial in the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. The first trial, I want to be clear, not the retrial that's coming up in a matter of weeks. Now, Reed insists that the allegations against her are not true.
So, did you drive your car into John?
I did not drive my car into John.
I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. Wait. That's a little. Again, I would not be overly analyzing Karen Reed here had she not shown up for this interview. But to me, it looks like she's responding with a smirk. And I've always considered, smirks to be signs of deception. So I don't know. I'll look at that again. Let me go full screen. Let's see.
Her are not true.
There's another interview. It's a very old interview. I'll have to find it because I sent it to Callie a long time ago, like over a year ago, where she was interviewed on the steps of the courthouse. We communicate a lot, so I don't know that I'm able to find. Can I find that? I'm not sure. But there was an interview she did outside. This was before the trial, outside the courthouse, and her response then was a bit off. But to me, this looks like a smirk, and to me, that's a sign of deception.
So, did you?
Unless it's, I don't know. Let me look at this again.
Drive your car into John?
I did not drive my car into John. Didn't reverse it.
I don't know.
Did not hit John with my car.
Is there any chance this was an accident?
There is 0 chance.
I don't like this at all. I don't know why they're out here interviewing Let me see. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. On what's the thing called on Reddit? A lot of folks have come out talking about how unlikable she is. That's a different tune from 2024. 2024 was a little different. I did not notice as many people criticizing her or claiming that she's not likable. I don't know what happened. Something happened. So, okay, somebody says, I don't think she did herself any favors doing that, Doc. I'm surprised her attorneys were involved as well. She really comes across as entitled. I don't know why her attorneys. I mean, I understand. There's a part of me that's like, okay, they're doing this because they're trying to, muddy the water as far as the jury pool is concerned. I don't know. Apparently, yeah, I don't know why they keep. I know people are saying she's unlikable because obviously they don't like her or whatever. This
was an
like a weird
accident.
move.
There was zero chance John was hit by a vehicle.
It's the demeanor. It's the demeanor to me. The demeanor's a little. The demeanor's a little off. The demeanor's a little off. What's up, Flash? Yeah, the demeanor's a little off to me. So. I don't know.
You're tired of it. You spent so
Hold on. This is very problematic. I'm gonna have to find the interview of Karen Reed on the steps, okay, on the courthouse steps. And it was a long time, probably a year or so before she actually went to trial the first time around. Okay. This is a very weird interview. Is this the docu-series you watched, Brooklyn, or what exactly did you watch? But this is a weird presentation.
Car into John. Didn't reverse it. Did not hit John with my car.
Is there any chance this was
Unless she had work done, and this is the only expression. This is not the only expression she has, not based on how she was looking at how she was staring down Brennan. How she was staring down Brennan last week? Thursday, Wednesday, whatever day it was. So this is, I don't know, Karen Reed.
an accident?
There is zero chance this was an accident. There was zero chance John was hit by a vehicle.
I don't know.
You're tired of it. You spent so much.
No, I'm not tired of it. I hate answering it because I feel like I'm being so scrutinized. Like, did she blink 3 times or twice? And
Yeah, why did you sign up for this, Karen Reed? Why'd you do it?
did she like smirk or look to the right or down
You're definitely smirking.
and up and left and whatever? And like, it just feels so fake, even though it's true. I rather like explain everything else. And like, I did not hit John with my car. Like, I can't make it sincere enough.
The 5-episode
Karen Reed. I don't know what your attorneys. I don't know why they let you get up there. Brooklyn's still nosy. Brooklyn, I'm not telling you anything. Okay. Why would you think Brooklyn from England? What's up, Benji? Okay. Let's see. What's up, Flash? Why are you going to jail? That's your business, okay? Jerome, sort yourself out. Let's see. Flash is not underrated. Everybody knows he's good. I don't want to overly scrutinize Karen Reed, but she kind of gives people no choice.
series continues tonight. We're asking.
Literally today when I was at work, right, I was thinking about Karen Reed. And I started questioning. I'm like, where do some of these attorneys get their training from? some of the moves, again, I get the whole trying to, get to the jury indirectly, communicate with the jury or possible jurors indirectly. I understand that. But that's an amateur move. That's just me. That's an amateur move. That's some weird stuff. Okay, Brooklyn says, okay, so the name was A Body in the Snow. Okay, so that was a different show.
How is Karen Reed coming across in the docuseries? Here to discuss. I'm so pleased to welcome back on the show award-winning investigative journalist, author, and podcaster M. William.
As far as these authors, this is so random, but I bought a book. From, this was one of the Amazon gift cards that I got for Christmas. And the biggest problem was that I had already, I bought a snowsuit and then I didn't like the snowsuit. So I returned the snowsuit and then I just, I couldn't use, I think it was already on my account. So I had to use it anyways. I bought a book. I bought a personal injury book on Amazon. The reviews were like, oh, they were raving reviews. So I bought the book and then I started reading the book and I decided to, go find the author on LinkedIn. I found the author on LinkedIn. I started following the guy. The guy turned out to be a goddamn Trump supporter. So I had to, unfollow the guy. But now I have the book. I'm still going to read the book because it's personal injury. So far, what I read was good because this guy's not an attorney, but he used to be a what is this? He used to be an adjuster, an insurance adjuster. So he has some good information, but I was just very disappointed. So with this author, I don't know who this author is, what he's about, but let's find out.
Phelps, good morning to you. Matthew, welcome back. If I could start with the first question.
He has the Charlie Sheen hairdo.
We're asking this morning, how do you think Karen Reed is coming off in this docuseries?
Well, honestly speaking, it's hard for me to watch it all at once. So I have to watch it in kind of snippets. And I mean, I deal with these people.
Oh, there's a dog back there.
All day long. I write about them. I interview them. And what I see is a lack of empathy on her part.
I'm going to look him up.
And it's very sickening to me because we've seen this throughout the entire ordeal where she minimizes her role and kind of maximizes the victim's role and the victim's family's role and the witness's role. So it's hard for me to watch that with any sort of credibility, if you will. And I'll just say, Julie.
What happened?
Matthew, you know what? We're getting just pieces of your audio. It seems to be dropping out, and I want to hear every word you're sharing with us. Let's do this. We're going to take a look at your audio. No, that's okay. We're going to have our engineers take a look at it. I'm going to play another clip for our viewers going to
the Core TV. They have sound engineers.
the point you just made about perhaps there's a lack of empathy we see with this woman when it comes to her boyfriend, the deceased, the real victim in all this, John O'Keefe. Let's take a listen to some of what she said about the fight for him.
I've never dated someone or been intimate with someone that they're just completely extricated.
I don't know, Karen Reed.
Let's take a listen to some of what she said about the fight for him.
I've never dated someone or been intimate with someone that they're just completely extricated. You can't get a hold of them anymore. It was just a weird feeling, but now I just want to save myself and I just want to be who I was before this. And I care less about fighting for John.
Karen Reed. I still cannot believe her attorneys allowed her to be interviewed for some docuseries before the trial has actually concluded. I mean, it makes sense to, be interviewed after there's a verdict, or if, I don't know, even if the Commonwealth were to drop charges, unless the charges are dropped with prejudice, I still would not have a client up here. Mm-mm.
She said, I care less about fighting for John. She's saying
Why on earth?
that she's concerned with saving herself. Matthew, I think we have you loud and clear now. I hope you could hear what we just played. Oh, there we go. You got a backup mic. You're such a pro. Of course you do. Of course you got a backup mic. All right. Your thoughts when you hear her actually say out loud how her bigger concern is herself, not John. Does it surprise you?
No, not at all. I mean, I deal with these types of people all the time. And look, I'm not saying that she is a sociopath. I'm not here to say that. I'm not a psychologist or a doctor, but the sociopaths that I have interviewed, and I've interviewed 100 probably.
I'm going to need Callie, Obag. I'm going to need you guys' input in the comments when you get to watch this, because this is troubling footage of Karen Reed. And what's questionable about this move is because, again, she is a criminal defendant. The jury would not otherwise have to hear from her, but she, for some reason, is on everybody's screens talking.
They all
talking about the defendant, not reviewing a movie, not talking about, the latest handbag, nothing of that nature, or at least her work. She's talking about the case that she's on trial for.
Always marginalize victims in order to minimize their role and to prop themselves up as the victim. I'm just saying. One quote in the first episode of that documentary really stood out to me.
There is no way the Karen Reed trial is boring.
And it's very short. And she said, either Jen, meaning Jen McCabe, is going down for this, or I am.
Honestly, I had a hard time watching the YSL trial because it was so chaotic and disorganized. To me, my ideal trial, definitely the Colin Griffith trial. I like that trial. And the other, again, that's a difference. I don't watch for entertainment. I'm really watching to see what other attorneys are doing. But I enjoy Judge McBurney's courtroom. Today, I was watching Judge McBurney again. The allegations, horrific. The evidence, horrific. Even the alleged victim in this case could barely testify without crying. And she was the victim of a crime when she was 19 years old. I have no idea what they have going on in Fulton County, but it's very concerning because the allegations here are kidnapping and R is R. I'm not going to, it's R ape. Okay. And this happened to the allegations of that it happened to this girl when she was 19 years old. They took a kit and everything, and they did absolutely nothing with that evidence for almost a decade. This was in 2014. Okay. This occurred in 2014. I did not even have a baby then. My kid's about to be 10 years. No, she's 10 years old. She's 10 years old. And for almost 10 years, these folks did absolutely nothing with the evidence. Okay. It was about, I believe they said it was 2018. The county or enforcement, whoever, somebody was criticized for apparently they held onto our kits. I'm not going to say it like if, it's a kit. It's a kit they test people when there's an allegation of assault of a certain nature. These authorities held onto these kits for years without doing anything about any of those cases or any of those victims. So very concerning things out there in Fulton County. Really, really concerning. But again, I liked the trial. What was disappointing in today's trial before Judge McBurney, though, the attorneys, they were not asking good questions. I said this when I started the live. The jurors were asking better questions than the attorneys. The attorneys and the prosecution is whatever, but the defense, they were also not asking questions that are on point. I'm like, listen, you are representing somebody, and the most damning evidence against this individual is a DNA match. And they were focused, they were focused on some random, they're just asking some really ridiculous questions, some ridiculous questions. But okay, enough ranting. Jerome says, what? Jerome wants to be sent to jail for contempt of treason. Nah, I don't send people to jail. Yeah, Benji said he's fine. He sent me. We've been talking. We've been talking. My behind needs to go to bed, but I quickly want to get through this. Let me get through this.
And to me, that summed
Yeah,
up
but
the entire.
Shout out to Judge McBurney though. I really, really like that judge. He's fair. He's respectful. He has empathy for the people that appear before him. But even all of those, given everything I've said about Judge McBurney, he's not soft. Okay, I've seen him sentence folks to real time, and I'm like, dang, Judge, that's kind of excessive. But yeah, he's definitely not soft.
Conspiracy in one quote.
Wait, what?
Is going down for this, or I am. And to me, that summed up the entire conspiracy in one quote, right? It's either
You're so stupid. Why
Jen
did you do that?
or me, and it's not going to be me. And you see, that's not getting at the truth of what happened. That's not talking about justice or, the facts. That's like waging
Why
war.
did you want to be on TV? If they really wanted to get some information out there, they could have written a piece for the local newspaper, or because that's something you can actually edit. Again, you can have some information in there that can be used against you. So that might be questionable too.
Right. I'm with you, Matthew. I'm with you on that. That was a moment where she said that about Jennifer McCabe. She has vilified this innocent witness, this woman who is a teacher, a PTA mom, a friend, a beloved friend of the O'Keeffes. And Karen Reed has positioned her to be the her arch enemy. She's made her out to be the bad guy, all hanging her hat upon this Google search that the company Celebrate has come forward and said did not happen at 2:27 a.m. I can't say it enough.
The person who wrote the software even said so.
Exactly, Matthew. All right, I want to show you something else, how these two things intersected, Karen Reed's trial and this new docuseries. Yesterday, as you know, she was in court for a motions hearing ahead of her trial, and Hank Brennan, the brand new special prosecutor, took note of another change in Ms. Reed's story. Let's take a look.
We learned last night, for the first time on a public hearing of an episode, that the defendant suggests that Mr. O'Keefe took her vodka soda glass out of her car. Now, that is the first time we've had any statements from Ms. Reed suggesting that. And also, there was another statement regarding a claim.
Hang in there, Benji. Okay, it's going to take time, but, work on yourself, focus on yourself. We're only a week removed, and it's going to take time. Okay?
That Ms. Reed pulled glass from John O'Keefe's face.
So another version of events from her. And Matthew, for any of our viewers who may not know, you did a brilliant podcast series on this case called 34 Fairview Road. It's outstanding. It's not the only podcast you've done several award-winning podcasts, Paper Ghost, Crossing the Line. But this is one that you've done as somebody just totally independent, coming in just to look at the facts. You did over 100 interviews in order to put the series out. Had you ever heard?
If you need anything else to do, Benji, get yourself a second job, a third job, throw yourself into something, but be productive.
This story about her vodka soda glass and then her pulling the piece of glass off John O'Keefe's face.
No, This is new. And one thing I did say in the podcast that is kind of apropos to right now, and what Hank Brennan said yesterday is, the truth is a mountain, doesn't move. It stands there on its own. And all of this, the glass up the nose, the changing of the stories, all the different versions of he went in the house, he didn't go in the house.
I know, Jerome, you're probably going to get even more bored because the one trial that I'm absolutely looking forward to all of 2025, it's the Idaho case. That's the one case that I'm absolutely going to be all in on. There's no exceptions there. That's the one case I'm focused on.
Got out of the car. It's evolving, right? So again, going back to what I said, the truth is a mountain. It stands on its own right there. It does not move. And when you lie, and I'm not saying she's lying, but when you lie, the story evolves. It changes. And that's all I hear. There are so many stories that she has told. It's really, you need an Excel Word spreadsheet to keep up with it all. And that's all going to come back to her now in this second trial. And going back to what I want to say about that documentary is, why in the hell would you even do something like that? That's a hubristic move to want to sit there and talk about yourself for what she said, 400 hours of video they have of her. There's absolutely no benefit, no reason for her to do it. It can only hurt her, right? And a documentary like
That's incredibly stupid. I just, what were her attorneys thinking? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Listen, if this was from an amateur attorney that has never tried a criminal case before, or if this is, maybe they've tried a few criminal cases, but, no serious charges, even I still would not understand that move. But for this move to have been stamped by attorneys that appear to be seasoned attorneys, they could have literally stopped this they could have stopped this whole thing before it even came out. I don't know. Is it fame? Is it what's going on?
It's infotainment. It's not journalism. It's infotainment.
You are so right. I could talk to you all day, Matthew. I really could. Hank Brennan is going to have a field day pulling the clips from this and all the other interviews she's done with all the evolving stories, lots of evolving.
There is no doubt about it. I have no idea why did they do this?
As you noted, you are brilliant, my friend. And for anybody who doesn't know, you have written 39 nonfiction true crime books. So for anybody wondering all the interviews you've done, check out M. William Phelps's books, his podcasts, and check him out on this show again soon. We'll have you back very soon.
All right. Core TV, you guys need to interview me because I'm baffled. I am baffled. All right, let's see. What are the comments saying here? I guess I'm going to have to find this interview because, man, they executed that man in Louisiana last week. That's just crazy. But anyways, let us move on. I just cannot. Okay, Jerome, you should never claim that I don't love you because I was up here longer. I was up here longer than I had planned on being up here, but I needed to bring that to a close. Okay. Jerome. Okay, Jerome. Wanted them to hear through the streets how good I'm doing and how they messed up. Don't look back, get your money, and go forward. Yeah, Benji, I mean, if you want to spin the block, that's on you, okay? If you want to spin the block, that's on you. That's a human thing to do. There are people that have, spun the block before. But if you need anything but money, I'm here for you. I don't have money for you, Benji. I have a gift card maybe somewhere around here. I can definitely talk to you. I can email back and forth. I don't know that I'm the person you take relationship advice from, but I do have a lot of wisdom. Okay. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow. Karen Reed is in court tomorrow. So that's going to be very interesting. Karen Reed's in court tomorrow. We get to talk about Karen Reed tomorrow. And I'm still puzzled. I have no idea. Let me look at my calendar. Hold on. So today's the 24th. Woo! We have 1 week. A week to jury selection, or at least 1 week from tomorrow. That's going to be exciting. Okay. Yeah, a week. That's. And I suppose while they're busy with a jury selection and Karen Reed, I'm quickly going to move on to Brian Kohlberger and give some background information there, because the Brian Kohlberger case I'm really, really, really interested in. I'm really interested. The biggest thing with that case, it's going to come down to DNA and how pretty much genealogy has influenced or the interplay between actual DNA science, genealogy, and the criminal courts. So I'm definitely excited about that one. All right, Jerome, Benji, you guys have a fantastic night. Brooklyn was up here too, but he disappeared. You guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, listening to me ramble and go on. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? All right, good night.